All right, it's indeed a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us for this Monday's the tackle edition of the 19th of October. By the way, mwezi inakimbia sana bana. Juzi tu tumeanza October, naona tayari saa hizi tunaelekea kuimaliza. All right, good morning guys. As usual, tafadhali ukifika pale like when you like, I get to know that you're watching us, and after you like, please share. When you share, you give someone else an opportunity to watch the broadcast. Ukifika pale fanya nini? Like. Ukilike naweza kuona kwamba umefika, na ukisha like tafadhali share. Ukishare unapa mtu mwingine nafasi ya kuweza kutazama broadcast ya leo. Karibuni sana, na pia tafadhali amsheni watu watano. I always say that when you get in, please tag and invite at least 5 friends. Ita at least marafiki wangapi? Marafiki watano, and we can build a better tackle family. I hope you guys had a very great weekend. I hope mulikula weekend pole pole. Naona pia kuna mambo ya corona imeanza kurudi. Nasikia kuna kitu inaitwa second wave. Watu wa Eldoret pia nasikia mnalia huko. Naona Nandi County wamefunga ofisi zao za county. Nimeona Eldoret wamefunga Uasin Gishu County wameshafunga ofisi zao pia county assembly, and they are saying they're going to do a serious mass test. All right. Naona kuna majamaa walikuwa wameamka mapema pale. Wanaume mnapenda airtime sana. Anyway, ona comments tayari zimeshafunikwa pale juu. Lakini nimeona nani ameamuka leo. Dikones mwenyewe. Naona Dikones ameamuka leo. Sio alikuwa ameenda wapi? Ukifika pia amsha mwenzako Senior Citizen wanaina jamaa wa CBD waamke. Naona Sandra Belian amesema good morning Asha 001. Not Trift Mira anasema mbele pamoja bro. Asante sana. Fidel Omosh anasema morning, nasikia bado amekuwa mweupe kama pamba. BBI itatuonyesha mambo. Obado nasikia ODM wamesema we must make peace with Obado. Obado has become a big problem in Migori. Anyway, we said that maybe Migori County should be declared as a republic, and Okoth Obado aweko kama founding father of Migori Republic. Anyway, Karaja David anasema amia, Gaddafi Chianjamba anasema Lokdin Apio, Ocheng anasema asap, Dixon Matogole anasema amia Gerald, my number is 0722. Alright, mwana nambari yako. Lakini wale watu ambao wamewin airtime wataweza kuambiwa. Tuko na watu ambao walikuwa wamewin airtime tayari. I have a list of those people who came in the first line. Naona pia wacha ni wasomee from the first one. Mtu wa kwanza alikuwa anaitwa Gaddafi Jianjamba, ya kwanza Jimolela, kifuatwa na ndugu yangu Mark Chirchir all the way from America, Millicent Thirop all the way from Sydney, Australia, alikuwa namba ngapi? Namba 4. Namba 5 Ben Keter anasema watching. Namba 6 ni nani? Karei Chepkorir anasema good morning. Namba 7 ni Derek Washira Ireri. Namba 8 ni Nyaribo Edwin. Namba 9 ni Nicholas Kirwa. Namba 10 ni nani? Ni Aisa Keki Tour. Alright. Hao ndio watu walikuwa wa kwanza, the first 10, the top 10. One of the tacheza kama sisi. Berry Lomondi wa Shanza Golden Morgan team tackle Dikones. Tafadhali amsha Senior Citizen Mark 19. Alright guys, ukifika pale piga like. Ukisha like pia fanya nini? Piga share. Tulikuwa tumeanza pia section ambayo ilikuwa ndio tujengane. Wala watu ambao mnafanya biashara, if you have any business that you're doing, you guys have been building us for all this time, and we think it's time to also build you. Kuna watu ambao tukwambia kwamba tuma biashara yako ambayo unaifanya, weka pia contacts. Kama ni kitu unauza product, weka namba ya simu. Nimeona kuna Joseph Op anasema anafanya Op Drillers Company Limited, drilling of boreholes. Yeye alikuwa ameweka pia business card yake hapo. Lacoste Bernard Bet alikuwa amesema kwa kampuni inaitwa Game Plan Safari Tours and Travel Nairobi. Namba yao ni 0721993636 ama 0756999333. Alright, electrical installation hiyo ni Kaka Kitolo. Jamaa anaitwa Gaddafi Sina Njamba anasema ako Dagoretti Kona anauza gas cylinders, mahali inaitwa Gaddafi Gas Supplies. Alright, pia kama kuna biashara sukuma, naona kuna list kubwa sana. Kuna Ultra Eureka Farm, a seedling nursery, on watu I think wanafanya seedlings. Hiyo ni Elias Kiptoro Teach. Nimeona kuna mtu pia kuna dairy hapo anaitwa Samuel K Lagat. Naona kuna Carlos Wanyama anasema kwa mahali inaitwa A Supplies. Samuel IK wanauza rangi, mahali inaitwa Brilliant Paints. Ben Mwao George kwa mahali inaitwa Ben Mwao Silage Chopper, anatengeneza machines za kukata silage. Kama unafanya dairy ama wewe ni mkulima na unataka mashine ya kukata silage, unaweza enda pale. Kuna pia Lydia Tie akona Tie Collection, Mushin Basil akona kama inaitwa Quick Sell Muhadi Collection. Naona nani mwingine pia Mambos mkombozi mtetezi anafanya beba car rental app. Kama wewe ni jamaa unataka kaya, kuna jamaa anaitwa hapo mkombozi mtetezi anasema title service located at Race Garden Ruiru Kimbo along Thika Road Super Highway. Kama unataka kaya, naona kuna mpaka na trucks for haya, naona kuna cargo vans, jamaa anaitwa mkombozi mtetezi. Hiyo ndio kazi yake. Governor Joseph wa Mashan anasema Machos Computer Solutions Cyber Cafe Service and Computer Repair and Maintenance. Mwenyewe anaitwa Joseph Masharia aka Governor Joseph wa Mashai Siakago town Mbeere North. Kama uko Mbeere North pale unakuwa na computer unataka iangaliwe, kimbia kwa jamaa anaitwa Governor Joseph wa Masha. Naona pia kuna mtu hapa wa Magic Star Auto Care anaitwa Ben Ray. Kama mambo ya magari pale, mambo ya Emma, kuna jamaa anaitwa Michael Chieng. Kama unataka Emma pale, kimbia kwa Michael Chieng, anaweza kukusaidia haraka sana. Wilfred Langata anasema ako locked in. Naona Analo Barno anasema senior Victor anasema watching from Kisumu American Analo Barno anasema locked. Asante sana Eliud Ngetia anasema Bitok Gerald Bitok, good show, you are going places. Thank you so much my brother. Brayo Slade anasema tuned in from Brongai. Asante sana Brayo. Berilo Modi Washira anasema Gerald Guten Morgen na mwisho bwana senior citizen Mark Wanaina. Farid Faraja anasema thanks to KOT you help Olunga. Asante sana, tulijaribu vile tuliweza. Berilo Modi Washira anasema anasalimia Asha 001. Farid Faraja anasema say hi to Lucia Ayala. Tutaambia habari ya Lucia Ayala sasa hivi. Farid anasema live from Adams. Asante sana Millicent Sela. Hey, tuango sema good morning to you Millicent Sela. Ezekiel Koej jamaa wa mheshimiwa Caleb Kosina anasema good morning boss. Good morning to you. Matu Kibesa anasema good morning on General. Asante sana Kibusha Junior anasema Patron 001 akolok de Sante. Alan Langa anasema good morning from Molo. Farid Faraja anasema 5 people to make the tackle family bigger. Tafadhali ita watu watano. Kabla sijaenda sana, acha nikimbie kwa kijana ya Bishop hapa atuambie Mungu anasemaje siku ya leo, alafu amwambie kitu kabla wiki ianze. Mushandu.
Yes sir.
Asifiwe Yesu.
Bwana asifiwe sana. It's a good Monday. We want to thank God for allowing us to see this week. Hii Oktoba inakibia my friend.
Kama imetumwa nini?
Yes, sijui kama ni vile tumesota or something of the sort.
I think the musota.
You have no other business other than counting days, you know.
I think yakona pesa kwa sababu tunahesabu masiku sasa.
Kunoma sana.
Makosha.
Yeah, so we thank God for allowing us to be here. I've been a little bit under the weather. Nasikia kahoma iko kwa umbali. But ultimately God has allowed us to be here this morning. And we are here to tackle what is needed to. So
najua mwanaume, maisha ya mwanaume na kuikimbiza hiyo. Peleka na rien.
Wewe unanipeleka my brother.
Hivyo ndio maisha ya mwanaume inafaa ikuwe. Unajua ukipata mwanaume amelala chini, ni either kwa hospitalini ama alikanyagwa na SGR. Lakini kama asijui ulikoa tunasema uendi kazini.
Hiyo ni noma. So I today I have a verse from the book of Joshua. And the Bible says that is chapter 1 of the book of Joshua. It says that the more the Israelites were afflicted, the more they continued to multiply. Therefore, I want to encourage everyone who is listening to the tackle this morning. The more you get tackled by life, the more your opportunity to multiply. Because, you know, mahesabu ya God si kama ya binadamu. So the more things continue to afflict you, the more opportunity God gets to reward and expand you. So just don't give up. Hang in there. Regardless of what happens, you just hang in there. And don't worry about what comes across your life, because God is there. And as long as you continue believing in Him, He continues to give you opportunities to expand. Amen. So shall we pray?
Please.
Father Lord, we want to thank you this morning. We want to honor you. We want to appreciate what you have done in our lives. We want to thank you for giving us another week. We want to appreciate you because it has taken your hand, it has taken your power. As we start the tackle this morning, we pray that you shall start with us. We seek for your guidance and power and your presence, and we shall be careful to say thank you once we come to the end of the tackle. In Jesus' name we give thanks.
Amen. 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 Thank you so much. By the way, unajua historia ya Mungu nazo zingine ni normal. Unajua anasema a day to God is 1,000 years. So if God says you're going to suffer for a day, you're going to suffer for 1,000 years. Anyway.
You know, the Bible says that the Lord quickens my feet. So that means today you may be at the back, but he's going to quicken you, and in no time you are in front. So it doesn't matter where you are. That's my principle for living.
Hallelujah.
It doesn't matter whether I have homa leo. Bado nitachapa kazi. Yes.
Ya maana nilikwambia usijaribu kulala. Mwambia bibi jamaa kaleta shida mwagie maji baridi.
Hapo uliniweza baba.
Daktari Juang, the one and only man who killed the dead lion.
Good morning.
VP.
He might be suffering from what the modern man call presentism. That they are always present. Unapata mtu amefanya for 4 years, hajachukua sick leave, hajachukua vacation, and that has now, according to the DSMV manual, is being diagnosed as a form of disability, presentism. Always present.
Never missing.
Yeah, but thank you for the verse. Very apt, especially given the time we are in. I was thinking of Romans 2:14 briefly, which says, "Indeed, when Gentiles who do not have the law do by nature things required by law, they are a law for themselves, even though they do not have the law." That is Romans 2:14. So Paul is amazed that the Gentiles who are not given the Decalogue or the 10 Commandments still did the right thing. That's Romans 2:14. Indeed, even Gentiles who do not have God's written law show that they know his law when they instinctively obey it, even without having heard it. So how about us who have the written constitution? If Gentiles who didn't even have laws did the right thing, we have no excuse with our written constitution to follow it, as Romans 2:14 is saying, even Gentiles who had no law did the right thing. We know the right thing. The right thing is instinctively. You know, there is a scripture saying, you will hear a voice on the back of your head saying, this is the road, or this is the path, follow ye it. We all know the right thing. You know, there is the Greek mythology, where in Greek, you know, if you did history, that's where they had the Olympics. And in the Olympics, you know, Athens or wherever, all those cities will sit based on different area of the stadium. And they had one custom which is common, and I like. When an older person come, you give him your seat. So one time when these people came in the stadium, this old man showed up in the stadium. He went through the corner by the by Athens and all this. They all knew the custom that when all seats are taken.
All right, John, how's your weekend?
How was my weekend? Yeah, we were supposed to have a weekend, wasn't it? You know, with COVID, where there is no compartmentalization. Apart from I went to church on Saturday for the first time. Yeah, I did. But generally, you know, your days run over each other. There is nothing distinctive between Monday and Sunday, for example. When we were going to work 5 days, things were so ordered and clear. Now it is weekend. Now it is Sunday. You go wash the car. You go do this. Now it is mambo
jumbled up.
It's jumbled up, and therefore, in fact, so when you tell me it is Monday, it is Friday, it is whatever,
you don't
like big deal. What is the difference? But be as it may, Monday is a day in calendar. I respect it. And I'm glad to be back at work. Whatever that means.
Hey, daktari, wewe unakuwa na maneno. Sasa helikopta ya nani bwana? Helikopta ya governor tunaye. Ikakataa kuinuka. Sasa nilisikia kwamba hiyo, because I was reading it actually on Twitter, and so some guys were giving an analysis of the aircraft itself. And they are saying that to carry, according to the weight that's supposed to lift, ilikuwa inafaa wabebe governor tunai peke yake. He has the enough LBs to be on that flight. What was happening actually? Because I see that flight could not take off. Lakini majamaa walikuwa wanalazimia kama ile kusema tuende bwana, tuende peleka hii kitu. Hii Kenya hii upuzi gani inaendeleanga?
I think, okay, I'm not an authority in that field. But if you look at the video,
by the way, on matters of authority, someone I saw alisema mimi sijui sana imani, lakini naona kama huyu jamaa alikanyaga mafuta ya clutch at the same time.
It's good to give a disclaimer, but if you look at that video, as the helicopter is trying to lift off for the first time, there is some electric shots at the tail that you can see from that video. So I guess from that point, as a pilot who has been trained and who has been in the business for a very long time, I was expecting the moment that copter started to have those issues of not lifting up, he should have put it down and first of all looked at exactly what is the problem. Maze, helicopter si kama gari daktari, unasukuma, hapana haikuwa na kick tusukume, unaona vile unasukuma gari mpaka inaguruma. Helicopter is not like that. How would you even dare try and lift up that helicopter with those mishaps that were seen from the word go? I think for me, anyway, ni kama tu Tunai alikuwa amelent helicopter tu imemaliza. Umeona, have you seen a photo trending on Twitter of the same helicopter, the same numbering ikiwekwa mafuta ya
ilikuwa inaongezewa
gede na mzungu. So Tunai, coming from one of the counties that was correcting way too much revenue, I thought he should have done better. I don't know, but even looking at the reason why he was at El Damat, people who are present there and the media who are present there, they say he did not even deliver anything constructive. In fact, a friend of mine who is in the media who was there, he actually went to fuel and put even more fire to the issue that took him to El Damat. I think probably it was a sign that because I want you to imagine Bitok, had that helicopter gone a little bit higher up, we'll be talking about another story. We will be talking about Narok getting a new governor. So I think for me, Tunai bana, siku ingine ukitafuta helicopter bana, tafuta helicopter inaweza beba watu. Unakuja na helicopter kubeba mtu mmoja alafu unajaza watu kwa helicopter bwana. Alafu hata ukiangalia kwa cheap. Yes.
Nasikia mezaika ni zile huko ngambo zimekataliwa. Unajua Ojwang alikuwa huko ngambo. Maybe once at a point labda alianza kuendesha chopa. Utuambie mambo ya hii helicopter ni nini, daktari?
No, you know, it's interesting because like in the US, people who do helicopter, you'll find high school flying class. So you find that in high school, there's a program. It's like a club. You get to debate. There are students who get into clubs to learn how to fly, and they can fly these small helicopters young as high school. Yeah, it's not such, here it's a symbol of status. Over there it is something for the amusement parks, and very common. Actually, because people can even build it. Once you have an engine, you can build your own helicopter. So it's not so much prestigious. But you see, as Mushendo have said, we will have been celebrating a funeral. So I thank God that they had not gone far from the ground.
So we celebrate funerals? Or we celebrate or we mourn?
We will have... it depends with the culture.
Where you come from.
Yeah. But, I remember one time I was flying and I sat on that, you remember the emergency window? And I'm given instruction that, and they say it in a very calm voice. In case of an emergency, we will ask you to open the window. This is how you open. And this is a beautiful lady saying it calm like it's a very romantic thing. And I asked her, is that when it has landed or on the air? Because now, and everybody laughed, but it really struck me what she was saying. You are telling me, you are telling me to open the window in the middle of there. We are not on the road. and she's saying it in case of emergency. You turn the knob on the right and you open. Are you willing to take on those things? I said I'm willing, but are you asking me to open this thing while we are on the air? So I mean, we take things for granted, but it's a big deal.
Anyway.
I think once we get back to the normal business, he should be on Churchill, you know.
Yes, guys, actually, he should open a show for him.
Yeah, we should.
Akuwa anafanya comedy on a Saturday morning. Anyway, guys. All right, the events of the week. Is there anything that happened over the weekend that you'd want to pick on? Kabla tujaanza kazi.
I have a reservation on Saturday. The leadership of the entire assembly, National Assembly and the Senate at State House. And I can see Karanja Kibicho from the photos that I've seen. I can see Karanja Kibicho and directing him. He was hosting the chairmen of the various select committee, the House. They were talking about the business of Jubilee in the House, and that particular meeting, and we are talking about revamping the agenda 4, the 4 agendas of the Jubilee government, and I think a chicken business with the Assembly and the Senate. Why would he meet the House leadership to deliberate on the House, incorporating even the Deputy President on that particular route? We are talking about, in the last 2 months, we have had a number of petitions and a number of bills coming to the House that touch on the common mwananchi. Some of these bills require, especially some of the bills that are going to be brought to the House by the Labor and Social Services. They would require a bipartisan president leadership. Apparently, some of the ODM members were present in State House on that particular day, and they are talking about the agenda of the government. Are we witnessing the president telling us that he has now shunned his deputy away from learning of government? So that interests me. That actually interests me because I'm expecting that the presidency should be on the read, showing us unity, and the presidency includes the deputy president and the president. Are they showing us that they cannot work together? Are they showing us that there is no longer no unity in government? Because it's like we are running 2 parallel government. The deputy president is on the road saying what Jubilee has set aside to do which project. On the other side, the president is in State House meeting the House leadership, apparently to fast track the agendas of the Jubilee government in the House. So that actually, the political intrigues within the ruling party intrigues me this weekend. Look at the what do you call it? The retreat, the Walin. How does such a breach of protocol happen and nobody talks about it? Because the deputy president of the republic is the next biggest, senior most government official. He's supposed to receive the president, but we see the super CS, Fred Matiang'i, receiving the president at Manyani. So I think for me, I find the ruling party Jubilee, which unfortunately I campaign for, very wanting, very suspicious, and very confused. So that weekend, I think for me what stands out is the confusion in Jubilee and the breakdown of Jubilee into 2 functions. We have a function that purports to be government, and we have another one that has been labeled as opposition within government. So I think for me, we continue to see signs, as Ojwang is saying. Very soon we may be celebrating the death of Jubilee. Very soon we may be celebrating the... Actually, I'm not convinced that Jubilee will form any other government. I don't think so. I don't believe they will form another government. Because what is Jubilee to start with? Jubilee was a culmination of actually winding up a number of parties. The main players being TNA and the, what do you call the other one, URP. But basically, I think for me, the nonsense that is Jubilee, the ruling party, stands out as the event for me for the weekend. I'm also expecting the same to play out in Kisii tomorrow when we have the celebration, because I'm expecting the president will fly to Kisii and fly back to Nairobi. Alternative, on the other hand, I'm expecting the DP will fly back and drive back to Nairobi. So we are still expecting, yeah. Yeah, but I'm very 100% that the deputy president will not use the air coming back. He will probably do some stopovers here and there. And we continue seeing a very broken Jubilee. And those people who keep on saying Jubilee, is it hashtag the president delivers? I mean, surely, as Governor Kabogo recently put it, why would a hungry man want to know where the SGR is going? why would you want to know? Why would you want to know that gauge railway is being built from Nairobi to Nanyuki, or from Nanyuki to Nyahururu, or from Nyahururu to Nakuru, when you don't have something to eat? So I think for me, we need to address the issues of the common Wanjiku, provide an enabling environment for them to make their head meet. Then we can tell them about the mega project, we can tell them about BBI and all those things.
And every other thing that follows.
Yes, but the priority is the welfare and the well-being of that common Wanjiku who is struggling to put meals on the table. I think for me that should be the most important thing, whether it is Uhuru or Ruto. Because let me tell you, and I start here without fear of contradiction, if Jubilee is going to crumble and it's going to come down, we'll have two people to blame. The president and the deputy president. They are the party and the deputy party leader of that party. And I think they sat down, they came up with a roadmap on how to form Jubilee and formulate the policies that are going to govern this country from 2017 to 2022. So if there is a failure, or if there is a deviation from the agendas they told us during the campaign trail, then they squarely take the blame, because they have allowed the issues of 2022, which is not even here with us, to dominate the government of the day. You hear people sitting in Pangani saying that their candidate is Raila Amolo Odinga. You see members of parliament who have been beneficiaries of contracts, and they are supposed to look and put the government on check. They are now singing the songs for the government. I mean, the opposition, the National Assembly, is in bed with the executive, enjoying multiple orgasms of mutilating the issues of Wanjiku, of raping issues that are going to help Wanjiku. So I think for me, we continue to see, and I think one of these fine days, Hollywood should pick up the Jubilee story and do a movie. Political movie on the same.
I saw a movie anyway, ambayo inaitwa imekuja inaitwa, what's the name again of that movie anyway? I'll tell you about it. Doctari, any events of the weekend you want to pick with? Even as you speak, your friends in Migori, ODM, are said we want to make peace with Governor Obado. And you told us Obado in Migori is a government in his own. You know?
Right. A friend of mine, actually, Professor Lumumba, gave me a line in Charles Dickens' book called A Tale of Two Cities that describe this time in Kenya. And it says it was the age of wisdom, but it was also the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light, and it was the season of darkness. I mean, you can see that we are not on the same boat. Kenyans are not on the same boat. As he has said, even the Jubilee leaders, we are in two different boats, with one boat leading us quickly to disaster. And when you look at what Kenyans are overwhelmed with a lot of all these things going on, I was able to look at what Matthias Sen says about poverty. That is not just a lack of money, it is not having the capability to realize one full potential as a human being. And I look at what has been going on. Remember, there is another group of counter-elders. Elders have also come with their own tackle. There was another group that was saying, I object to your eldership. We had a funny lawyer who, when I said objection, his student said, I object to your objection. And I thought that was interesting. So you saw the other group, none other than from Kenyatta's family saying the word Elder Bonoko.
but I will also want to say this. Number one, he said very important things. I'll tell you about the elders of our community. One, the elders of our communities do not line up for food. They don't line up for food.
They sit and wait.
They sit and wait. If they are going to perform an official function that is supposed to be formed by the elders, they sit down. They don't eat those mavi, nini, izo mashakura, and those carrots we saw and cabbages.
Understand, they're actually bread and soda.
Yes, and bread and soda. Serious elders wanakula nyama. Na hawakuli nyama tu hohehahe. Wanakula nyama ambayo specifically is meant for the elders.
Nyama hohehahe ni gani?
Unajua kuna nyama zingine wewe acha nikwambie. Basically, we also saw quite a number of young people purporting to be elders of the Kikuyu culture. We saw the CAS for education, the young man who was recently awarded by the president with a job. We saw him, and there was surrounding. Number two, we saw Kikuyu elders riding down as the Naitango Kanguka Jaramogi and bowing to that particular makeshift of a rayon. I don't know, was it a rayon or something? The Kikuyu culture does not work that way. We have Kikuyu Council of Elders. And I will say this because it is not even about just Raila Odinga. I oppose to the elders who went to Sugoi last year. Because this, what was happening in Kanguka Jaramogi happened in Sugoi last year. I opposed. Cultures are not supposed to be tools of business, regardless of whichever culture you come from. Cultures are supposed to be something we enjoy as people from the Kikuyu land. I come to the Daktari's home. I enjoy seeing how they do their culture. Culture is not supposed to be traded as a political tool. So those who went to actually initiate the deputy president as a Kikuyu elder, those who went to initiate... in fact, I have a problem with the same elders who went to Kanguka Jaramogi. On that particular day that they were at Siaya, is it Siaya? It's Siaya, I want to presume so. That particular day, it was it, which date?
The other week, when they were going to...
Yes, the other week. That particular day.
Saturday, right?
Yes.
Saturday.
Yes, that particular time, 2017, the same elders who read that particular function.
So you have marked them, Mushon?
Yes, I have marked. Kwanza, the elder who was reading there is a
the one who had shaved the box.
He's a businessman. He's a businessman. They treated us to a mockery. How did, during the burial of the president, the former president, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, you remember ile lungu yake ilikuwa inapitishwa? How did Kikuyu elders end up giving out that rungu to Gideon Moi? Don't we have courage in elders and Baringo elders? Or you don't know, the guy who handed over that rungu to what do you call Lemward Moi, so that Lemward Moi can hand it over to Gideon Moi, is an elder from home, Kamiredo in Limuru. He is a businessman. He walks around with he walks around with
Daktari unajoma.
No, it is true. That guy walks around with two things. A knife na ile inaitwa rohea, that horn. Kazi yake tu ni kutafuta pahali kuna mbuzi na kuna ile pombe ya nini. Ile pombe. So I was telling you, the same guy on 2017 on that very day, they converged at a place called Mukuru wa Nyagathanga. That is in central Kenya. And they conversed to cast the MD and the owner of the Royal Media Services for supporting Raila Odinga. I remember vividly. They were cursing him and they crashed some carabash because he was supporting Raila Odinga. Now, before you go to cleanse Raila Odinga and make him a Kikuyu elder, why don't you first of all undo the curse that you did on SK Macharia simply because he was supporting Raila Odinga? It is idiocy of the highest order. These elders are disgrace to the Kikuyu Cultural Association, to Gema community. They are a serious disgrace. Those who went to Siaya, those who went to Sigoi, culture is not supposed to be a trade tool. It is supposed to be something we enjoy. It's supposed to be something we are proud about. So I am very disappointed as a Kikuyu person to see our elders, and unfortunately there was also a fight after the function, because apparently they were supposed to be given each 1,500. They ended up being given 500. So maze our ni my elders Bonoko. That guy CAS education. Ata bibi hana. You cannot be made a Kikuyu elder.
Chunga bwana. Chunga anaweza kukazi.
Haina shida. I am older than him. In Kikuyu culture mtoto hajawahi kasi mtu mkubwa kumuriko. But you see, in Kikuyu culture, before you are inducted to the Council of Elders, lazima ukuwe na bibi, na sio bibi tu, umepeleka mahali. Si kabuiste. Wazee ukuwe na wazee wanasema huyo kijana alipeleka mahali kwa baba ya msichana, sasa hii ni bibi yake. Then you go through the process. Babako anakutolea mbuzi, alafu sasa unatoa mbuzi za kuwa mzee. This guy, we have no recollection of him ever being initiated into the eldership. But that idiot is the one that was representing the purported Kikuyu Council of Elders. And a member of Kenyatta family has come up, captain, the good captain, to denounce this Bonoko Wazes.
So hii maneno yuko na consultation hata na Mudozi. Kama ndugu ya Mudozi anaruka. Unajua?
Wacha nituulize na daktari hapa. The country, the president, the previous 2 days had declared a national prayer day. On the very day those elders were supposed to go and make Raila Odinga a Kikuyu Council of Elder person. Kwani wewe Aguambo utaki maombi bana? Ilikuwa national prayer day. Tungekuwa tukiomba, si kupeleka watu Bonoko. They are now making you look like, because let me tell you, I felt it because if you ask me, some of the most influential figures in our politics of today, one of them is Raila Odinga. He's one of Raila Odinga. I would put Raila Odinga and William Ruto at par. They are the currently most popular politicians in this country. Ata uhuru yake iliisha anyway. Once you are elected for a second time, nyota yako sasa inaanzanga kwenda. So I felt when such elders take the great man in the name of Raila Odinga for a ride, and they purport talk, because let me tell you, the next event that is gonna happen, and you had the captain, the good captain Ariud, it is gonna be a banishment. Those elders wote watatolewa kwa Council of Elders.
So kumbe wako ndani tayari.
Kuisha hiyo bure kabisa.
Ojua. Tuambie mambo yenu. Mambo ya Migori. ODM Bati amesema we don't have to fight. We can agree and politically romance.
ADR. Yeah, but you know.
Ama ulisema bado alikuwa amesema mahali imefika rafanya abiro. Abogoi.
It was a suicidal note. You know, you can't poke a bear with a spoon and think you can because once you have poked a bear, the bear is now angry, and you don't have enough power to fight a bear. It's obvious that every time Obado have a duel with the ODM, he has come out at the top. So I don't know, as fate will have it again, the thought of trying and checking whether he's solid came upon one Mr. Mbadi. But boy, did it backfire. because it obviously backfire. It's like those primary fights that you start and then you realize this has backfired. And you now work on ADR. You know, they first started ground failure by saying, we ningekupiga kama sio buru. Buru ameniambia nikuache. Na kwa vile na muheshimu nimekuacha. Because the newspaper was saying it's Buru and Aida, Miss Raila, that actually intervened. But I think Obad also allowed them to have a soft landing. You know, ushachapa mtu. So when they come with an excuse why they have left you for another day, you also let them be. And so he was gracious enough to give them a soft landing and say, you know, let us work together. Because I remember the last time I saw him where he was saying, you know, we have, when you have a stubborn asthma, we have the medicine which is put on a pot and you are covered with heavy blankets and it remove all the inside. Very important therapy. It's actually hydrotherapy. And he was saying, you know, there are those people who we will take through that process in Migori. And they realize that they have to count their losses. He's here. He's distracting from BBI. You need him. After all, he has his base. And so looks like he has been let to go one more time, yes.
There's something I saw the other day, yesterday actually. There's a video that was circulating about a mama. And, I don't know. Are Kenyans finally waking up? Ama ni sarakasi? Wewe tusikie mama anasemaje.
Iko sheria inafanya mara mbili Kenya hii.
Alizaliwa siku ile ule mwingine hakuzaliwa.
Kuna mwingine alizaliwa miezi 9.
Nini? Nyamira. Lakini Raila aende Nyamira kaonesa ne BBI. Kwani
iko sheria inafanya mara mbili Kenya hii.
Alizaliwa siku ile ule mwingine hakuzaliwa.
Kuna mwingine alizaliwa miezi 9 na mwingine akazaliwa na 5. Kwa hivyo hii kitu ya BBI ni bonoko.
Kwa nini huyu mnamkataza aende Nyamira? Mkapiga watu na matia gas. Huyu naye kwenda aka
watu mumechoka.
Tumechoka Raudi. Hata Uhuru sahi asimame hapa. Pata hata kura 5. Atajua ni Kenya ile nilikuwa amu ni Kenya nyingine.
Mambo yamebadilika.
Hata asimame wakati hii. Ameumiza walaja. Kutoka akalia hiyo kiti ile pesa Moi Kibaki alirudisha ndio hiyo amekula.
Amekula yote.
Na anakopa. Baka mtoto iko tumbo ya mama yake iko na deni Kenya. Hajatoka aone maji nazo.
Lakini mimi mama nakuuliza, ni wewe unajua hii maneno peke yako na kina mama wengine wanajua hii?
Wanajua kama mimi. Wanarefuka kama mimi. Mimi naangaliaga TV hivi.
Unaona habari, unaona hao wametucheza.
Nichukue mawe nikoge lakini ni mimi nitajipeleka hapa. Unashindwa ni nini mpaka unafunga hiyo TV unaingia kwa kitanda na. Kama jana nilimwangalia akisema maneno ya hiyo huduma namba. Na hiyo huduma namba walituletea tu kujua ni kitu gani, tulipewa karatasi tukaweka kwa nyumba.
Na tangu hiyo huduma namba ni mwaka 1.5 umepita.
Hapo hajatuambia ilikuwa nini. Wangu tuambia ni nini.
Na unajiuliza hii huduma namba baada ya kuwa na corona ni priority. Inatulazimisha aje hii huduma namba. Ni lazima tuwe na hii huduma namba kwa saa hii.
Tena saa hii ni corona. Tena analeta huduma namba tena muanze kupanga laini mkichukua huduma namba. Ni nini inatusaidia?
Tupange laini na 1.5 mita. Watu wamechoka.
Hiyo hapo tuambia nini, watu walikojea. Sasa iko kitu italetwa hakuna. Tulipewa karatasi tunaweka, hawa wakakula mshahara wakaenda manyumbani. Tukaletewa tukahesabiwa. Hawa wakakula mshahara wakaenda nyumbani.
Na wanasema eti watu wana complain eti huyu amepeana Agwilibaro.
Na complain huyu anapea. Tafadhali huyu aginipee Agwilibaro. Nisukumage kwa hii mawe nikiuza hii soda ya toni. Na inakula kwangu inakunywa. Na lala starehe.
Wao wataki kutuletea hata kijiko.
Hata kijiko hajakuletea. Na wanampiga.
Wanampiga.
Tafadhali huyo wa huko.
Hii vita wanampiga, Wakenya wameona. Wakenya wanaona.
All right. The story, and you know, these are things that I at times I listen to, and what really struck me is, you know, this is an old woman, and it looks like she looks tired. First of all, she mtu ambaye ametayari ameshachoka, ameweka free maisha, ameweka yani amedunga free kabisa kwa autopilot. You know, that's what I could feel from this woman, and this is a state of the nation. For me, I look at it as a state of the nation from WANJIKU. You know, for the person who feels the state of the nation actually, and the pains that people are going through.
You know, forget the politics of the day for a moment, and look at that mama from a perspective of a local WANJIKU, who is actually expressing the frustrations by this government. And that's why I told you, this mama does not care about an SGL. He does not care about a mega project that the government is undertaking. The most important thing and the primary thing for her is to put food on the table. That's why you hear her complain is, unasikia anasema ati amesikia kuna mwingine anapatiana wheelbarrow akuja ampatie hiyo wheelbarrow akuje auze hizo masoda zake. You see, it's not even about the wheelbarrow. It is about the frustrations of the common WANJIKU. Look at that mom. I want to assume she should be about almost 70 or thereabout.
Over. I think she'll be
Over
around
70
80
or something of that.
If you look at her, she's over 80 thereabout.
Yeah, you would expect that particular lady to be seated somewhere at home, enjoying the fruits of the children that she brought up. But even these kids do not have an opportunity to make ends meet in this country. And that's why I don't understand what is the views about the capital projects in this republic. We continue taking loans and taking loans and taking loans to do capital projects. Today, be talking, and I'm not being rude or something. How many people are going to benefit with the overpass we are building from Westlands all the way to the airport? As much as it's a capital project that in future is going to ease the movement of foreign investors to come to this country, is it a priority that we must do all these mega projects when WANJIKU is languishing in poverty? Is it a priority? That is what I'm trying to say. Because every time you take a loan out there, you shall not pay that loan with your money. You're gonna pay that money with you're gonna pay that loan with the tax that the common WANJIKU is paying. So it is common sense. Before you take a loan, you expand the revenue base. How do you expand the revenue base, Bitok? You have to ensure that the young people of this country are working so that they are able to remit tax. They are able to give revenue to government. But we continue taking out loans. We come and we start mega projects. The people who are supposed to expand our revenue base are not working. So therefore, you have a loan that is incurring and it is adding up and it is adding up. Today, you know, the interest on our loans, the interest on the loans this country has is bigger than the wage bill of this country put together. We are talking about, we have an interest of 580 billion in interest of our loans. We are not even touching the loan itself. Today, how is it practically possible that the interest on the loans we have is bigger than our wage bill? And we saw the president the other day, he was in France. He is almost getting another loan of 180 billion to come apparently and do a dual carriage from Kamandora going all the way to Nakuru. I mean, I'm looking at it. These projects are okay. These projects are nice. But are we doing it in the expense? Look at the frustration on that woman. Look at, and you know, forget Moshando, who is young and is in Nairobi moving up and down. He may not be as honest as that woman. But that woman is telling you exactly what is in her heart. That woman is expressing the frustrations of so many people who are not talking. And you feel the pain. This government has lost track of what is the priority. We have, according to Central Bank and the Kenya Revenue, they're saying we have over 1 million people who are no longer paying tax because of COVID. People have closed shop, people have lost jobs. Instead of looking at the post-coronavirus economic recovery program, we are talking about BBI. We are talking about capital projects that do not. Today, how many Kenyans have gone with the SGR to date?
I've never actually bought it after.
You know how many, what is the percentage of Kenyans who fly?
I don't know.
What is the percentage of Kenyans who use all those container terminals? You know, I'm looking at it. These projects are okay. I have no problem with them. But can we balance the capital projects with the interest of the common WANJIKU? Can we provide an enabling environment for people to be able to do business, for people to be able to get... Because let me tell you, today we talk, if the government provides an ease of doing business for me to do construction, if they provide... we are going to change our energy system so that we can lower the cost of production, I can venture into production. And if I venture to production, it is guaranteed that there are Kenyans that I'm going to employ.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day. So
right.
I think the government needs, number one, to look at the ease of doing business in this country. They need to look at the tax regime of this country. And they need to look at the cost of production so that we can allow as many people to venture into production, because government can only employ too much. But if we empower the private community to be able to do business, and I keep on saying the reason why China has come out as a very strong global player in the business, it is because they have empowered the middle class and they have empowered the coming up small industries. But you hear, when the president is looking for advice, he is going for, what do you call it, the Kenya private business, whatever. KEPSA. Oh, what in Masos? They don't know what is happening in there. You are going to people who continue to oppress the upcoming young people in business for them to give you advice so that you can bring out the young people to do business. Please, don't be a joke.
Dr. Ari,
yes.
You've listened to Mom.
Yeah. That Mom, you know, we have been talking of Africa rising, and the question is who is rising? And that even in academia, we have moved more from statistics to stories. You know, stories are authentic. Human stories show you where people are. And I equate that woman to one woman who looked at the king and said, whether it is a law, I know your word is a law, but I'm not going to follow, called Antigone. In the Greek mythology, the Antigons looked at the king. The king had come with a pronouncement that nobody should bury his brother, and the Antigone said, I was not born to hate, I was born to love. A very good line. But Antigone, that woman is simply saying, no, we are in a situation where we know what we want. You know, if somebody have missed something, and I think politicians have missed something, the days of Renaissance is the days that people started questioning. You know, before that, somebody will simply say, the Pope have said, the world is flat. And Galileo will be there struggling with this telescope, that no, the world is not flat, it is round. And so before that, somebody will believe something because of who have said it. But then with Renaissance and civilization, the person who is hearing became the center of it. No, I will believe it if you convince me, not because you say so and so have said it. And that is the disconnect. Politicians still think they are in the ages where so and so have said it, therefore it is okay. This woman is able to articulate issues and is seeing what is amiss. Is looking at those projects and is saying what people like India have been telling us all along, that the biggest corruption now is in misaligned projects. Somebody set a project, inflate the price 3-4 times, get a loan or whatever, and count that to be development. And instead of development so that they hope that it trickles down to Mama Mboga or this woman, it has not lifted people up. And you can see this lady is very clear on what she wants. And I think this is the population of Kenya. You know, when young people think they are very progressive and they are discovering new things, no, the older people are much ahead. Look at what the thinking of this woman, the position of this woman, the articulation of issue of this woman, with a typical young man who is playing video games in his boxers, in his basement, and thinking, old people don't know anything. I am the best thing. She understands very well. She's talking of her future and the plan that she has not seen the economic growth. So we have borrowed. We have projects that are not well thought. We have done that because projects are needed and somebody need to make quick cash. She's even talking of Huduma number. You saw that the president showed us the young people who invented Huduma now. I don't know how you invent Huduma number, but somehow remember the young people who apparently invented it. I didn't know the inventors of Huduma number among us, though they were not given time to talk, how they thought of this idea. I mean, is this a science congress? If you went to high school, remember those science congress? Yes. Where you come with something that you know is to win the science congress, and simply that. How do you invent Huduma number? So that in his reply to those who are saying it is a German, he showed young entrepreneurs who he said, now mnataka kuona wazungu wali invent Huduma number. Ndio hao. Yeah, wazungu sasa. So right. So in this young people's mind, if they invented Huduma number, be as it may, it has not been well articulated why they invented it. Whether that is the latest invention or the most necessary invention. And now is the business of WANJIKU. Because look at it this way. At the end of the day, we live in a country where every taxi service is now controlled by Uber, which is an app that is global. We live in a country where even government projects and everybody, when they talk, it's on Facebook, which is not Kenyan. So even within this digital age, so you are saying, okay, we are moving into digital age and making digital footprints. We live in a world where Twitter, WhatsApp, and Netflix and everything, if you go to most of these middle-class homes, they watch TV using Netflix. Where does Netflix come from? Overseas. If you are to order an Uber now here, did you know of that word Uber before it came from US? So what is it? What is the geniusness about Huduma number that is competing with the apps like Uber, with Facebook, with the digitalization? In fact, what we are facing today is digital colonization. We are facing digital colonization. Your data here is being held in Washington. Every time you take selfie, where do you think it goes? Silicon Valley. The satellite here. We live in information age. Yes. That is why Safaricom is selling airtime. They are simply selling air. Safaricom knows everybody you have called this week and whom you call on Friday evening and how much you send and what is the last message. More than the government. We live in digital colonization, where the Uber we are using is not ours, the app, there is two different versions, they are not ours, the Facebook is not yours. We have not even invented a needle to sew our clothes. Actually, out of those inventions that are done in Manyani, I saw one of them is a Kenyan social media, and I'm just wondering how many people are going to get into that.
Lazima angeenda Manyani kutuonyesha ati mtu alikuja na, let me tell you, if you want to know information, because for me, Huduma number, for me, I believe it was somebody correcting information on Kenyans and making a kill out of it from the international.
Wamesema information iko manyani. You guys should not get worried.
Kwenda huko. You see, if you want to know information is power, Bitok, ingia kwa Google, search for, what do I say? Kitu kama nini? Search for this umbrella here. Uende utafute uone unataka kununua ni pesa ngapi, unataka kuona inauzwa na nani, inaweza kufikia aje. That is today morning. You have searched for that umbrella in the morning. Tomorrow when you wake up and open your Facebook, unasikia ulienda Google.
Yes.
That thing that you searched in Google will be the one appearing first.
Will be speaking to you the whole day.
The whole day on
Several
Facebook.
umbrellas.
That is why I'm telling you, information, these international companies, as he's saying, and multinationals, there is nothing that is making these nations money. Just information and data.
Just selling data and information.
Yes, information. As you have said, Safaricom is, that is crazy.
Selling
airtime.
Artificial intelligence. You know the artificial intelligence, which, by the way, helped Jubilee campaign. Because
the Cambridge Analytica, whatever.
Yes, they simply, it is not something that a person does. It's simply a machine which does not get tired. And it can simply look at all your choices and know that if I put this to Bitok, he will buy this. And this is what he needs. And this is what he's saying. Do you know that so it is obvious, as Mushendu is saying, they're spying on us, even at the highest level, leave alone NIS. All of us, when we are in Facebook, and even the government, even the president, the multinational are spying on us. How many times have we seen the WikiLeaks and all that?
Yes.
So here we are facing digital colonization, and you act like it is the biggest innovation you have come with is Huduma
Lamba. But I think also Africans and information are quite interesting, because you know Africans argue very vaguely and vaguely. The reason why I say this is you know, every day I see on Facebook CJ what challenge someone fills up a form that tells them Mushendu is the most handsome guy in Deya. Those foolishness that happens on Facebook, and these are the biometrics that collect your data. Someone goes in and you need to go and do a name test and whatever it is, you log in for the sake of the pleasure, and then they come and argue that the government is stealing their data. You know, because I look at the way Africans behave and Kenyans, for instance.
I was being taught by a friend who started of 10-year marriage challenge. Yes, he was telling me, because he's a data analyst. The reason why they start these challenges is somebody has been given a challenge to know by an organization that is dealing with psychological issues.
So the population.
Populations and all those things. So in a matter of seconds and in a matter of days, he can be able to tell you, out of 2 million people on Facebook, 700,000 have been married for over 10 years. Unasikia kuna, what do you call it? Kuna degree challenge. How many degrees do you have? I mean, where will you be in 10 years? You unaingia kwa hiyo challenge, you allow that application to access your Facebook. That Facebook you have has been opened through a Gmail, so they equally access your Gmail.
Access your back passwords.
That Gmail has been linked to your phone number, so they access your phone number.
So it's easier.
Yes. Eventually, you have just given someone, at a click of a button, you have given someone, and then you know, especially those on IG, Instagram, najua photos, everything. Is mtu wako America na hakujua anaweza kukuambia from January to December umekuwa ukifanya nini. Where have you been? Kwanza Google ilikuja na kitu kingine kanaitwa location. That Bitok, I may not know where you are in the weekend, lakini naweza ingia Uber ama Bolt na nijue you took an Uber from Gong Road ukaenda Dagoretti,
mizunguko yote umepata,
toka Dagoretti ukaenda Kikuyu. You know, let me tell you, as he has said, we are in a place where information has become so accessible to those who want to access your life. You are posting everything, when you are eating, when you are uko kwa nduthi, unapost ukiwa kwa nduthi, sijui uko kwa tax baridi, sijui uko wapi. I think Kenyans must stop blaming government, because we have also exposed ourselves to these organizations and these challenges. And ukisikia tu hashtag, there is something on Twitter and another thing inaitango hashtag.
Tayari umeshakimbia pale.
Umekimbia hapo na umecomment.
Alright, twende kwa magazeti. People Daily inasema Kagwe's new red flag on coronavirus. We are talking about a second corona wave that is coming in, and we are saying children to go back to school. Daktari, wewe ni mwalimu. Tumesema children are safe to go back to school, but the country is going in for another lockdown. I mean, inchi watu na operate namna gani?
The final order, see, we don't have the last batch released to school yet, isn't it? Bado ni universities.
Yeah.
Because I know, like in our university, they made a decision that no tukutane January. Meanwhile, we will engage online, because somebody have already settled, bought a laptop, have settled with this data or had data plans, whether it is to engage in a service that provide internet. So you cannot just cut that and tell them, oops, let's meet on Monday in physical class. They have to now get a room, get food and all that. I think that the second wave, if there is, the second wave that we are being shown is peaking. We are told Kenyans have relaxed. It is going to get worse, because remember, we are prepared that probably the release of BBI is this week, followed by serious events of popularizing it. We have seen politicians have not relaxed. We know there's by-elections going on, and in by-election people campaign and people talk. So I think that it's not so much in our hands. Who is still listening to Mr. Kagwe with his counts?
Actually, he said
with his arithmetic.
He said the youth are flirting with coronavirus. They're not talking about the politicians.
But you know, I at least I agree with him, since the only thing that for me, I think I agree with him since he started this work is him questioning this Jerusalem challenge. I mean, must we be all copycats?
Members of parliament.
So that if somebody did Jerusalem challenge, now, just like, you know, the irony where you find us very happy, I'm walking in power, I know who I am, and you don't know. People are serious things in the country. Somebody stealing corona money, you are there, I'm walking in power, I know who I am. So,
and you have absolutely no idea.
So now the same thing with this Jerusalem challenge.
Oh my God.
What's your opinion
I
on
would
that?
want to know how much it costed the National Assembly to do the Jerusalem challenge, because I think, as Prof has been saying, Kenya needs to stop from being so melodramatic about this challenge. They need to think about serious issues. They need to think about issues that affect this country. I mean, surely, this country is heading for the dogs, and we are busy dancing and shouting. The members of parliament have a lot of time to do that challenge. Well, they cannot pass very serious bills in the assembly so that they can affect positively the rise of WANJIKU. I think light from the president trickling down, they are demonstrating the misplaced priority of issues in this republic, just led by the president. I mean, how did we reduce the president to do the jobs of the mayor of Nairobi those days when Kinadiki Wadheka were there? You know, I'm like, we have a misplaced priority in this nation. What are we doing about issues that affect WANJIKU? What are we doing about the issues that affect the coffee farmers? I said the other day, and I'll keep on repeating, there is no greater joy that Uhuru will relieve the people of Central Kenya than ensuring 3 things that matter in their life are taken care of. he is almost leaving the coffee farmers where he found them. He is almost leaving the tea farmers where he found them. And he is leaving the milk farmers at a worse place than he found them. And for me, this should be the priority. We are looking at, in this republic, the coffee auctioneer takes 75% of the entire income of the coffee farming. Why is it that the middleman is eating 3 times of what the actual farmer is getting? Why is it that we have a creek of thugs controlling the auctions of tea and that of coffee? Why can't we organize and come up with policies? And I would want to know the coffee bill and the other issues to do with tea that have come to the assembly. What have they done? What has the Honorable Moses Kuria so far done with his coffee bill in the assembly? Because for me, these are the most important things. I've seen what Tanzania has done for their tea farmers. Today, Bitok, myself and Daktari, if we have the capacity, we can open our own auction and sell our coffee directly to the buyer in the US and everywhere. That means that I am getting maximum value of what I have worked for. And that is what I would want Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta to do if he's serious. Let me tell you, Bitok, the coffee farmer has never failed to take the coffee to the company. The tea farmer has never failed to take the tea to the correction place. That coffee has never failed to be processed by a company. It is always processed. That coffee, after being processed, it is always taken to that auction. And eventually an international buyer always buys that coffee. But you keep on hearing people saying, coffee farmers have not failed. Companies that process coffee have not failed. The people who have failed are 2 people, the government and the middleman. And therefore, if the government is serious on issues that affect Wanjiku, can they address the issues of coffee, the issues of tea, the issues of maziwa, so that that farmer can get the maximum yield of what he has worked for? For me, that is when I will realize the government is serious. It doesn't matter whether you do 5,000 kilometers of railway or you do 5,000 kilometers of dual carriage. As long as the coffee farmer, who is a very faithful farmer and who has done his job, is not getting what is legally his, this government will have failed. And it is unfortunate that we see coffee farmers and tea farmers and the daily milk farmers in central Kenya continue to ravish and have a problem with the correction of their products because this government is not serious. So I would ask Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, if you want to leave a legacy in central Kenya and in northern, I want to believe even northern Rift, we have a lot of majani chai huko.
Yes, of course.
If you want to leave a legacy, kindly come up with the process and rules that favor the common mwananchi. Today, Bitok, even if you have 4,000 acres of tea, you cannot export your own tea. You have to abide by the regulations that are very demeaning to the producer. And I think that's, for me, that's what I'm saying. This government needs to be very serious on issues that affect the common person.
All right.
And, you know, how we still export tea as raw material from Kenya is the greatest madness. You know that even Unilever and all these companies, and the National Land Commission said that the land really belongs to the community and their lease is over. But we still, you know, every time when you ask why is Africa poor, we are told you still concentrate on, there is no value addition. You concentrate on agricultural products, and people now don't make money using railway. They don't make money using ammunition. They don't make money. People make money using data and information. Facebook is the richest company. The people who invent Twitter, the people who do this. So imagine we are still importing tea as a raw product. It goes to Britain. Unilever takes it to Britain. It's when it is Lipton. Actually, it then comes back to our Java.
Interesting.
And we drink it at 1,600. Yet you know that very few years we knew that a cup of tea is 20 shillings. it goes and get processed as Lipton tea, and it is drunk in 1 cup, 5,000 in Kampiski, because you are drinking, I don't know, with the dust gold from wherever. You saw that. So we, so they tell us, and this is where the government need to be strategic, because they tell us your product agriculture, they are not diversified. So why is Kenya still importing tea as a raw material?
Exporting.
That goes to Britain, then get processed, and then it is now British tea.
That's quite surprising. By the time you mentioned it, Dr. I remember sometimes back, that last 2018, 2019. Yes, last year was 2019, right? So I was in China. And I heard that, in China, the only thing is maybe green tea. If you want tea, roasted tea, that's black tea, then, it's a different thing. They don't do it themselves there. So they bring the Liptons. Back there, they call it Lipton. You cannot say one tea. You say one Liptons, because is it Liptons or whatever it
Lipton,
is? So I was looking at the package. The package is 100% Kenyan tea processed in the UK. Yeah. Kenyan tea processed in the UK. Yes. And I was wondering, the question is, China imports tea from the UK.
Right.
That the UK has imported raw tea from Kenya to go and process in the UK. That's the biggest, the highest height of foolishness. As a Kenyan, you travel to China to have Kenyan tea processed in the UK. Why is it that we cannot manage the process in between? Why can't we export fine grounded tea in packages? When you go to Dubai, for you to order, or even Dubai, and maybe when you look at countries like Belgium and all that, if you want to order Kenyan coffee, it's a prime. In fact, they market it as 100% Kenyan coffee.
Pure.
100% Kenyan coffee. But it's not, but it's not processed yet. These guys, they come, they take our berries, they go and process it there and put a prime price on it. If you're going to buy coffee today in Dubai, it goes to an arm and a leg. And the question is, when you look at our government policies, why can't we ensure that, because these are some of the things that we only depend on. We don't export gold, we don't export petroleum, though tulipata juzi petroleum nasikia ilienda kwanza Manjaro alafu zitarudi kama itajulikana imekaa vipi. But the thing is, the much that we have, if we could refine the best quality and export it there at the finest quality, why do we know that they change it between?
And Bitok, you saw Boris.
Or we need BBI.
You saw Borison saying that British is nothing without tea. If you go to US, it's all about tea and coffee. Every morning, the routine is wake up, go to coffee place, get your coffee. That coffee is produced there. That our job is to pick it, weed it, and then it is bagged, taken, and processed in Britain, which do not produce it, as you are saying, and then it is now marketed, and some are brought back, by the way. and so that...
Look at Nescafe.
So that, where do young people want to meet the so-called civilized? Let's meet in Java and grab a cup of tea. That cup of tea you are grabbing
has been grabbed from you.
500, 400. Why should a cup of tea cost 500? Well, because it first went to Britain. It came from Kericho, passed to Britain, and back to you. It is madness. It is nonsense. It is what is going on. The National Land Commission have already said that land belonged to the Kipsigis. Remember the Talai people that were removed and taken to Gwasi, tortured and killed in thousands. Now, we are talking of land redistribution. You know the Ndungu Land Report. You know the Truth and Justice and Reconciliation. Up to now, and that is why the first thing Europeans did is to move us from barter trade. And I still argue that barter trade have very, very small injustice. Because you can see that there is no way I can give you 100 bags of maize for that small thing. Do you know that is why they introduced money? So that phone you are holding is probably 100,000. Those are 4 bulls.
You got it right.
If it was,
I could have been very worried if you did not price it right. If you had not priced it, but you've underpriced it by almost 45,000. But anyway, I could be very worried if you had underpriced it.
And thank you for being a forgiving person. And I'm being modest. So look at that. If it was barter trade, would you have gone to your home in Rift Valley bring 5 cows or 6 cows in Nairobi, people seeing you driving 6 cows and ask you, Bitok, where are you going?
I'm going
to this Safaricom shop to buy a phone. You'll think twice. But now, what they did, actually, if it's 140 whatever, that is about 7 bulls.
Yes.
Now, they tell you, I don't care. When peleka hiyo ng'ombe yako kwa mnada, uko. Bring me money. So you cannot directly equate. Why is a laptop 200,000? And my sack of maize is 5,000. Do you know how much work it gets to produce a sack of maize, one? Fertilizer and all that, and then we follow their argument that, oh yeah, technology is expensive. Who have said technology is expensive? Why should technology be expensive? So the very person who produces technology tell you technology is expensive, but come to your product and tell you, poor Africa, because you are producing, unajua we just take sweat and mortar, hakuna akili hapa, ni kuchimba shimo na kuweka chai, hakuna kitu umefanya hapa. I'm going 1 barrel of whatever, this business news, listen to the business news, and 1 barrel of tea went for this, it's like a choir, and nobody's questioning, why is 1 barrel of tea, who decides? And market forces, supply and demand, that is business news ya Kenya. Business news ya Kenya, KTN. And 1 barrel of nini went for nini, gunia moja ya viazi 3,000. So nobody stop and say, wait a minute. How come this gunia moja ya nini is going for 3,000, but then we have tea in Kampiski, a cup for 5,000? And to me, that is what then the country should be talking about, and that's where South Africa is. But you see, for us, we can simply try to not prevent our decline. Me, I'm not even asking Kenyans to go beyond 2010 constitution. I'm simply saying that do whatever so that we don't decline, because we are declining very fast. We are declining at a very high speed. When you see the kind of things we are doing, when it is our coffee, when it is kitenge that is now patented in Japan. When it is, I went to the museum in Chicago, and I found the man-eaters of Savo, those lions. They are there. And I felt this is robbery. Why is the head of Samoa still in a museum in Britain? Yes. We are dispossessed every day. Mtu hapo Kericho kazi yake ni kuvaa hiyo tandarua ngumu, kuenda kuchuna hiyo chai, kujikata makucha, bringing it, packaging it, so that people can be there talking of, have you have a cup of tea? And at 2,000, wewe ulilipwa 500. The shamba ni yako, ni nini yako. So we need serious emancipation, and that is why, to me, we have not have that serious conversation. You go to Laikipia, look at the number of ranches that are owned by non-Kenyans. Yet the Maasai cannot have their cows drink even on those lands. We are a country, and that is why, the debate. The debate that, you are inciting the poor against the rich. I mean, that is the next law. Because if you look at the Constitution, it's talking of social justice. Yes. If you look at what poverty does, and take it from me as somebody who have tested and drank poverty through my young age, poverty is about losing opportunities. God did not mean anybody to live like that. You have no choice how to wake up, what to eat, where to go, what to do, how to dress. I mean, it limits your human and capability. So that when you look at the conversation we are having, remember J.M. Kariuki. This is a country of 10 millionaires and 10 million beggars. Why should people who are producing tea, and the world is looking at tea, why should they be poor? Ati bonus ni 5,000. Sijui bonus ni 10,000, 20,000. and with a lot of warnings. Sasa umepata pesa, usiache mama, unajua sasa kuna town hapo,
sasa inakuja na disclaimer
na amekupa 20,000 after working for 1 year. All of a sudden
20,000 kama usiache mama
nyuma, ninajua nini, all of a sudden unapata KTN pia imelenga some of the prostitutes, ati sasa pesa imepatikana ya bonus, are moving to Kericho. Hii pesa ni nyingi, hawezi kula peke yake. 200,000. It is sad.
Yani 20,000 unapewa na vitisho. Atusiache
disclaimer.
By the way, bonus zinakuja at the end of the month. We are in October, is normally paid at the end of October. But it pains me to see the kind of effort people put to actually bring up these cash crops. Coffee, tea, maziwa. I mean, you hear that a company is buying 28 shillings a liter of milk. And then you go to the supermarket, you realize that half a liter packet is over 50 shillings. That makes that a kg 100 shillings worth. A liter of milk going for 100 shillings. Na mwenye aliproduce alilipa 28 shillings. I mean, even if you were to do the cost of actually putting value on that milk, you find that the farmer has been oppressed. And I think that is what the government ought to concentrate on. You know, when the Jubilee government said that they said they were going to construct how many houses?
Who is counting?
Yes, I hear, no, somebody counted.
Yes, Sankoka actually articulated it. How many per year?
I can't remember. But you know, I was not interested talk about the houses. What was interesting me is the provision of employment to those people, because if you were to come down to how many people are used to construct each unit, I saw we were looking at almost 800,000 young Kenyans getting a job for over 2 years, something to earn. That is actually what was the interest of me. But you see, this government has vacated from such a project that, number one, even as we leave people kona nyumba, I was looking, imagine we were doing housing in Kibera, for instance. We pick about 200,000 young men in Kibera and they are given a job for 2 years. You know, that for me, that was the beauty of that particular agenda of housing, which this government has. I'm told if they have made many units, that's Jefika 200 in the last 3 years. So, can this government stop the nonsense of BBI, the nonsense of who will be president for 2022? They have a responsibility for the next 17 months to deliver to Kenyans what they promised they will. And I want the president to forget about the capital projects, because you see, I like how Kibaki selectively took upon a few capital projects. And still, you know, today the border industry was opened up by President Kibaki. As he was doing a mega project in Thika Road, he was also because I remember they were in talks with China. Most of these border coming from China. And it opened. I mean, ukiachwa na gari kitambo, ulikuwa unaenda mguu. That opened the small economy in the sense that we had so many border guys come up. They have their daily bread. It was possible for me to be picked in my house and get to where I work in time, therefore making sure that I am able to become productive maximally because I'm getting to job in time. And I think that is where the president has failed. He has failed in the balancing act. Even as you do these capital projects, what is it that you are doing to uplift the life of those Kenyans who are living below $1? Are you coming up with projects that are going to help them? You know, and empower them? And I keep on saying, kazi kumtaani is not empowering people. Kazi mtaani, it is like the way me and a group of friends tumeshikana every Friday, we give street food kids street kids tunawapatia chakula. That is kazi mtaani actually.
It does not make any impact on the economy.
Anybody. It does not empower anybody. Empowering anybody Bitok is ensuring that I leave you with the know-how. I leave you with the knowledge to be able to make a shilling tomorrow. Whether I will be there or not, Bitok will still make a shilling.
For themselves.
That project is coming to an end in January. I mean, can you come up with programs and projects that are going to empower young people? Don't just concentrate on mega projects. It is okay, you are tarmacking all Nairobi. I saw the NMS opening up an asphalt plant to do tarmacking in Nairobi. But other than just making sure that the city is beautiful, are you ensuring that the people who live in that city have money in their pocket? Because if they don't, then they pose a security challenge to
those who have it.
To those who have and those who are manning security apparatus in the city. So I think this government has deliberately failed in the balancing act of the capital project and issues that affect the common mwananchi. And I keep on saying this, the problem is that the Honorable Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta surrounded himself with the sycophants. They do not tell, they are like the court poets those days. The king of Babylon used to have court poets who would go before the king. May you live forever. You will live forever, my king. We can never have a king like you. These people surrounding the president are simply court poets. They do not know how to tell the king that he is naked. And I think that's where the mistake is. You require, as much as you require court poets as the leader of the nation, you also require advisors and people surrounding you who
can tell
you the truth, regardless of how bad
painful
it is. And I think that is where Uhuru Kenyatta has missed the mark. Everybody surrounding him is a sycophant. They do not want to challenge the president on some of the mistakes he's making. That's why I tell you, the president nowadays does not even review the speeches he comes and reads. Otherwise, if he reviews them, we would see actions. How many speeches have we seen him do? And using the word I directed, I have instructed. And down the year, 2 years, I can tell you of almost 15 speeches where the president either says, I directed, I have instructed, but those instructions have never been followed. Didn't you see the president instructing county government to pay contractors? In Kiambu, you have a contractor who did a job in 2014 and has never been paid. But the government made an instruction. Actually, that instruction came with a rejoinder that if you do not pay contractors, we will stop you from getting money. We have not seen counties being denied money for not paying these contractors, because the president only comes and reads a speech that is written, and he does not care about what happens. As long as he has delivered it to the letter, he does not care about the results.
Right.
And I think that is where the president is missed. He needs people to tell him, as a king, you're naked.
You're naked. All right. Asante sana. Bunge la mwenyeji pia iko wazi. Bunge la mwenyeji is open. Bunge la mwenyeji is open. You can call in and contribute 0779-800-010 0779-800-010. Na pia kuna section ile ya tujengane. Kama kuna biashara unafanya unaitupa pale, alafu tunaipiga shout out haraka upesi sana ile wanataka waweze kupea biashara pia. Bunge la mwenyeji iko wazi 0779-800-010.
I have also seen somebody called Calvin Muondo saying P. Mushendo should know the role of NMS. It is not NMS role to ensure that money is in people's pocket. I know that is not the role of NMS, but that NMS is being powered by who? It's being powered by the president. We have given the president the responsibility to provide an enabling environment for people to make money. So let him not confuse issues. I'm not saying that NMS is in charge, but it is being powered by the very person we have entrusted with the authority to create an enabling environment for us to do business and get money in the pocket.
All right. Hello. Good morning. Yes, sir.
Morning, sir.
Habari ya asubuhi dadi.
Niko mzuri.
Leta habari.
Mimi niko poa. Au daktari?
Hey, we are good. Habari bwana.
Mimi niko poa daktari.
Asante ndugu.
Salimia Shendo.
Mesalimika ndugu yangu.
Sasa.
Yes sir.
Unajua sasa daktari amesema ukweli. Uhuru, I don't know, the problem is that all the people who could have told Uhuru the truth wamefukuzwa. Alafu sasa wamebaki na ile watu wameona tu hii miaka moja ama ni mbili imebaki hii ni ya kukula. Hawataki kuambia ukweli.
Kulamba sana.
Uhuru has been issuing instruction. Kama alisema sijui ati he wants 30% of the tenders to be given to the youth, women and people with disabilities. Hiyo ile fly in the face. He directed a lot of things, hakuna kitu inafanyika. So we are just used to lip services by him.
Okay. So hakuna mtu
unajua jana hii kitu ya what happened in Manyani? Hii protocol issues. What is your take? What is
Wacha ndauliza wa majamaa what is your take on the protocol issue, kwa sababu mimi ni pastor tunaendesha kwa hii kanisa lakini siwezi sema iko kitu. Sawa, ndauliza dadi. Alafu ile maneno yako nitakupa ripoti leo.
Haya sawa,
na asante sana, tunashukuru sana.
Haya.
Thank you, have a good day. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Gerald.
How are you, sir?
Very fine. I'm Ruben Rocker, calling from Lesos, Nandi County.
Oh, yes, Ruben. Where are Lesos?
Salama sana. I've been following what you have been talking.
Yes, sir. Hello? Umenyonga mtoto akaamua kwenda na simu. Haya. Habari yako watu wa New Jersey?
Mzuri sana bwana Gerald, habari ya wewe?
Salama sana. Umetutupa bwana.
Niko salama kabisa.
Ni majukumu tu. Mimi tu mobile niuma sana.
Nini imekuuma dadi?
Wakati wameenda Manyani. Si Ruto akiwa ameweka mikono kwa serikali ambayo alifanya bidii na juhudi kuitengeneza kweli.
Ni kweli imekuuma.
Did I see that?
Hata mimi nimesikia mtu ameola.
That it is the people who gave those people those positions. And they did not give them individually, but they gave them as a collective because each one of them has a constituent. People that are following them. And they are the reasons that they voted for Jubilee collectively, because individually every person alikuwa anakuja na watu wake. Na ndio maana wakavunja URP, DNA na kila kitu. Na tukikumbuka kabisa Gerald, mimi nikikurudisha nyuma. Wakati wa campaign, Daktari William Samoei Kipchirchir Arap Ruto alikuwa anapiga campaign 5 kabla rafiki yake hajaamuka kuja kuhutubia wananchi kwa mkutano ya kwanza. Tunaelewana?
Hao watu wa New Jersey mnaongea.
Rafiki yake alikuwa amesanitize bana.
In this case, kama ni mtu ambaye anatakiwa kuwa na shares kwa hii serikali, yeye ako na 85%. 85.
Alisikia wapi?
Sasa kama tunaona yeye anashika mkono nyuma, mwingine anajifanya hivi hata apei nafasi ya it is a fallacy to see even educated people being sycophants to a point of not even thinking of what they are doing. Really? Are you forgetting that this is your boss, that you are doing this? Ati unapatiwa na deep state, sijui anaitwa deep state ama state, sijui anaitwa wanakupatia nguvu. Ati nafikiri hiyo ni deep stick, kama ni ya kupima oil. Kama hivyo wewe unapatiwa nguvu na watu wengine ambao wanakufanya wewe unadhulumu mtu boss wako. A time will come, my friend, they say power is temporary. Let us wait and see, because 2022 Nobody knows who will be there and those who will not be there. But if we'll be there, God will ashame some people.
Let me ask you, my brother.
God will ashame some people.
Bro,
thank you very much.
Nimekusikia imekuuma, sasa nataka nikuulize swali.
Yes.
Do you think these politicians ever learn? Because the people who are sitting at the table of oppression right now are the ones who are being oppressed the other day. Do you think these politicians actually ever change? Orengo mwenye alisema the system, the what? Revolution will eat its own children. He's always sitting pretty today. And he's okay. Do you think...
You know what, Gerald? You know, I want to answer you very, very honestly.
Yes.
Wakati rais wetu Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta walishikana pamoja na Dr. William Kipchirchir Samoei. Walisema tunataka kubadilisha barabara ya siasa ambayo tumepitia, ambayo imeweka wananchi wetu kwa hali ambayo wako.
Hey.
And they had a blank check from wananchi. They were given a blank check to do all the things that they can do to help alleviate that and move us from that point and unite everybody. But you cannot burn bridges to construct others. Kama unataka kuvunja bridge ya 10 million ndio utengeneze ya 2 million, where are you heading?
Sasa ndugu yangu.
It is a pity that we had given them a blank check to unite us. Sisi tunataka wananchi wote. And if you can see, Gerald, kwa hii hata wakati State House ina post picha yoyote kwa Facebook, just look at it and see how much wananchi are crying for unity. For these two people to come together. All of them are happy when they are saying, oh, tunaona sasa rais wetu ako na deputy. Why is it that people are yearning for unity, whereas there are people in the dipstick that wants to separate the people? For what reason? For what reason?
Hey, leo tumepata mpya inaitwa dipstick.
For 2022.
All right,
Thank
bro.
you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a good night all the way from New Jersey. Salimia New Jersey.
Asante.
Asante sana. Mtutumie kitu ya Trump huko iteremke tukula hata sisi.
Kama kawaida.
Haya, asante daddy. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you so much, bro. Haya, daktari, wacha nikupe kwa sababu ona masaa yako inaharibika. Maybe you respond. And also there is a case that I saw yesterday. Kuna wakili alikatwa mikono, jana ametuacha. What is going on bana with these kind of things that are happening in this country?
Yeah, he's a very young lawyer that has succumbed to the torture. There is investigation. I saw Harvey raise an issue whether the police have capacity to be neutral, being that this is one of their colleagues that butchered the lawyer. I think for Kenyans, I want to end in a high note because I've observed that everybody is doing their mischief, but at least claiming a portion of the Constitution. So I think the 2010 Constitution has become the most organizing and trendsetter than ever. Even the bad people are claiming a portion of it, whether they are misinterpreting and saying, according to Article this. Even when teachers strike and everything that is done in Kenya now have a color, it might not be exact, but have a color or a claim of the Constitution. I think what Kenyans need to do is keep being resilient. I think Kenya has shifted because I see that articulation by that old lady. She understands what is going on. She is very clear what she needs. And therefore, when people think that we are in an age where you can simply come and say, I have chosen this path, walk ye therefore. For God so loved the world that he gave us his own begotten son. That cannot work in this generation. People are meant to chart their own path. Even in the universities, watu wamekuwa vichwa ngumu. These are not generation unaambia because I've said so. You must persuade them. Yes, you must persuade them. You must convince them. Even in the house, the small children there, even in the churches, the pastors who thought mimi ndio shepherd hapa, it has not gone well. So it is up to the politician to understand the time they are operating in. They are operating with people who are conscious and awoke. And that consciousness, especially now the one that we are hearing, the class consciousness, where they are talking of the rich and the poor, then it becomes a very strong fodder, because now people are rallying around their own interest. And now people can say, interest yangu iko hapa, interest yangu iko hapa. So Kenyans, look for your interest, mark your interest, and once you find where your interest lies, go for it. Of course, the caller is regretting the Jubilee saga. You know, we say
now Jubilee is a saga.
we say in the Luo that the elephant tusk become heavy for the elephant. So if you are in Jubilee, you are carrying the elephant tusk, you find the tusk heavy, it is your task, just carry it to maliza safari. Thank you.
There's something that has been mentioned as well that has come out twice. Maybe you just respond on that before I let you go. The issue of insubordination or breach of protocol in Manyani.
Yeah, you know, I'm not so much. I think part of it is creation of media. Part of it is Matiang's own personality and shamelessness. Because, you know, I don't think President invited him and told him, wait for me and be the first one on the plane. Right. I think that was his own innovativeness and his own kind of angling.
Self-deployment.
So that you can see I have power.
In short, you know,
right.
You keep decorating it with so being many words. It was simply Kiherehere Matiang. I'm very sure, and especially the president was riding on Aname.
Daktari, you're ready to leave? All right. See you. Thank you. Have a good day. Tumaliza hapa na mshendo shughuli. Daktari ameitwa pale, najua ndiye anaenda kusimamia maneno ya Jubilee saga. Mambo ya Jubilee saga. All right.
You know, I would try to say that people have within government, sycophants within government have nicknamed Matiang the Super Matiang, until that superness has refused to leave his head. Therefore, I foresee a situation where, if you look carefully at where the deputy president was standing, you would realize that it was a very well crafted lineup to receive the president. You can always tell that Matiang'i has rushed from somewhere and anakuja na kihelehele yake to be the one receiving the president, because apparently he has been nicknamed the Super CS, and the superness has refused to leave his head. So I would say that that was very unfortunate. It was nothing short of humiliation to the deputy president when he has to play second fiddle to a minister who is a beneficiary of the campaign between the president and the deputy president. So it's unfortunate, but then the political intrigues have just started and we are gearing toward 2022. We expect such mayhems to go on. Who knows? You might see a protocol being breached tomorrow at Gusii.
Nimesikia kwanza wameanza kusema nyinyi mtaka kwenda kuleta fujo huko Kisii.
You know, I mean, with this government, any madness is expected. I mean, surely. Who does that?
I saw yesterday my good friend Silvanus Osoro, mbunge wa South Mugirango, alikuwa ameleta complaint, akasema anatafutwa na polisi, wanasema yeye anataka kuleta vita pale Kisii, and they are saying those guys will not access that. Nasikia wanaitwa they are unwelcomed guests. So you guys, the government is waiting for you.
You see, when you're talking about a national celebration, it is supposed to be a national celebration for everyone. More so elected leader, because the people of South Mugirango have exercised their very well elaborate right in our constitution. That is Article 1. They can exercise the constitution directly. The authority of the constitution is vested on the people of the Republic of Kenya. They can exercise it directly or indirectly. In this case, the people of South Mugirango have exercised their power through their MP, Silvanus. So it will be absurd for the police to start claiming anataka kuleta fujo. That will be the first one, because We have seen national celebrations, even those people who are at loggerheads, we have always respected the national celebrations because we respect, especially this one, we are celebrating the Mashujaa Day. And I expect that the police must do their work without victimizing others. Have you seen the Standard of today? Talking about that soon the DCI and the NIA,
yes, to be controlling Harambes.
They'll be controlling Harambes. It's the most absurd thing we have had. If it is about controlling Harambes, the sycophants surrounding the president are always in and out of Harambes any other day, the same way the deputy president is doing. So I would say that whether you are in Kiereweke or you are in Tangatanga or you are there between, the role must be seen to be applied equally to every Kenyan. If you go against or you contravene the constitution, you equally face the consequences regardless of your affiliation. But today, we see that if you want to be clean and as white as snow, you just need to support BBI. See the governor, the Migori governor. The Migori governor is now a darling of ODM.
But he's very sharp. Ni kama ataenda aikorogesha kando.
Lakini si unajua, you know Raila Odinga in the first place did not want the governor to be re-elected. But unfortunately, he's just like a cat. He has 9 lives. He keeps coming back and keeps coming back. 2 months ago, you would have been told he is now in a pit. He cannot come out.
Now he's back here.
Today he's back here.
Right, that's politics of the day. Aya, sasa Mshendu, takoli yako ya siku utasema ni vipi?
I still want to challenge government on the housing issue there, amongst the agenda for housing. The reason why this agenda is very important to me, it is number one, it would have created house ownership by over 22%. Of Kenyans who do not own houses would have owned houses. But the most interesting thing about this particular agenda, it is the young people who would be provided to work. Because if we are talking about doing about 40,000 units of houses, every house would probably, if you are to subdivide every unit, would probably require 1 fundi, ilikuwa watu watatu wa mkono. That is 4 people per unit working for almost a year. If you do 4 people by 40,000 units, that is about 160,000 young people with an employment for a whole year. And it would have shaped the lives of the young people, especially who are living within the city. So I therefore want to challenge the Jubilee government that even if you deviate from the other agendas, this agenda of housing, you must come back to it. You must substitute this with BBI. BBI is not going to give anybody a job. It is not going to empower anyone. It is not going to expand any young person's life. So I still insist that this government has to retract its steps, especially when the housing agenda is concerned, because the ripple effect of putting money on that particular agenda is the employment, the jobs that we promised the young people that they will have. So therefore, I want to humbly request the president and the Jubilee administration, can you kindly reconsider and put up money on the that agenda, particularly the one for housing, because it has a ripple effect in terms of job creation, especially with the post-coronavirus effect, economic effects. If you can revive that particular agenda, it will go a long way in addressing the issues of joblessness in this city. It will address the issue of joblessness in our urban towns. Therefore, I seek and I beseech the Jubilee government, kindly revert to that particular agenda so that we can provide a livelihood for our young people who are currently struggling.
All right. By the way, it's also 13 years since the reggae musician anaitwa nani Lucky Dube aliuliwa pale South Africa. Watu wanasemaga South Africa. Nasema since he was murdered in South Africa, his soul continues to rest in peace, but his music lives on, and that's the essence of life, by the way. Ukiulizwa leo Mshendo, wewe ulikuwa unakoa hapa unasema uko na homa. Ukienda leo, what is that will be remembered about you, Mshendo?
I think I will be remembered as a fearless person who has never failed to point out. I know I have rattled the rich and the mighty at a risk of probably being eliminated out of this world. But I do not want my daughter, when she is 25, to remember me as a coward. I would want her to remember me as a fearless father who stood for what is right. So if today I was to go, I would know that I have not sugarcoated the truth. I have basically said the things as they are, and I keep on saying. And just for the avoidance of doubt, one of the problems that is ailing this republic, it is that the president and the head of state has failed to separate the issues of the state and that of the family business.
All right, that's interesting. All right, Lucky Dube continues to rest in peace. 13 years later, aliuliwa. And the thing is, you know, one thing in life is you have to live for something. And his music was not just music; it was about the conscience of a people.
Precisely.
You know, in fact, what he's playing right now is about together as one.
Precisely.
You know, and he was speaking about Africa. At the end of the day, different colors, different backgrounds, different things.
I'm telling you, the moment that 13 years to date we are still listening to those renditions is enough evidence that he left a mark before he left this world.
Oh, that's what we all desire. And